I'm going to start the recording. I'm going to share screen. So it's there. Everyone's good? Okay, so before we get going on this, just that it's recorded, I would let you know that if you're uncomfortable being recorded, you can please use your, the bottom bar, you can toggle off your video sharing and just follow along without your face being recorded on screen. So I'll give you a second to do that while I introduce myself. So I'm going to be talking about APA 7 citation and referencing today. My name is Angela Spooner. I'm an instructor of biology at North Island College. And this is a presentation that meets the requirements of assignment 2 for the PIDP 3240 course. I'd like to respectfully acknowledge that I'm living and learning in the Comox Valley on the unceded traditional territory of the Comox First Nation. We're going to be talking about APA 7, how to write in-text citations and format a reference list in APA style today. I'll be providing you a couple of handy resources that I use. We'll go through a quick practice exercise and close with a summary Q&A. Before we get going, I just wanted, by show of hands, how many are in the chat? How many of you are familiar with APA and have used it before? Everybody, I think. All right, so then this will be maybe a little bit more of a reference, a review, sorry, on what has changed with APA 7, which is our new version. So APA 7, as a review, what is it? It's a style of documentation of sources used by the American Psychological Association. That's the APA. And it's used primarily while writing research papers in social sciences, education, and a few other fields. And the 7 is because the 7th edition came out recently in late 2019, and it's the standard in institutions as of September 2020. Okay, so quickly going over in-text citations, and these are simplified, they're really straightforward. APA uses an author and a date when there's not a direct quote. So Jones 2012, or if you had multiple authors, you'd use the ampersand, Smith and Barnes. And if you don't have a date, you simply put ND for no date. This is new, APA 7, that if there are 3 or more authors, you simply use the first author's last name and et al. And the date. You don't have to count how many authors there are. You don't have to worry if you've used it once already and you're going forward. It's just straightforward, 3 or more authors, et al. If you are using a direct quote, the only difference is you can add your page numbering. For a single page, it's a single P. For multiple pages, it's a PP. And pro tip, every in-text citation must appear in your reference list at the end of your document, and vice versa. Referencing is making the reference list simplified. This is the more complex part of the APA reference and citation. What isn't new, hanging indentation is used. The references are listed in alphabetical order by first author's last name. Any first and middle names are written as initials only, and you separate your authors by commas and use that ampersand, that and symbol before the author's last name. What's new in the reference list? We now go up to 20 authors. You're going to write every last name and initial for 20 authors. If you have more than 20 authors, then you would be using the abbreviated version. If there is no author, then you are going to put that title of work at the beginning of your reference list and just have the publication date. Books no longer need a location of the publisher. So no longer New York, Random House, it's just Random House. The DOI label does not need to be ahead of a link, and the URLs and the DOI hyperlinks are now what's included within that reference citation. Retrieve from is no longer needed before a hyperlink unless you actually have January 1st as a date in your in-text citation. And there are plenty of examples because there are so many different resources that one can use, government reports, legal documents, websites, all these are going to have slightly different formats, and there are examples in the manual for everybody to look at. If you don't have a manual, then that's good because there are tons of helpful APA resources available online. OWL Purdue and Bow Valley College Library Guide are the two that I go to, but I do use some of these others. I also use, I do have APA 6 manual that I flip through all the time because while I'm writing reports or checking students' work, it's an easy way to look something up. I do have to buy the 7 now, version 7. Pro tip, use a reference management tool. This is a link for the top free, top 10, I think it is, or top 7 free open source reference management tool. And all these is you're creating your own library. So you create a library of all the sources that you're using. And then when you're writing your paper, if I want to include one of our textbooks like Barkley from one of our courses, I just go insert citation, I start typing Barkley, all of the documents that are in my library by Barkley pop up. I click the one I want, it inserts it in text and magically adds it to my reference list in APA 7's format. Quick note, Word is still running, is formatting APA 6, and there is no date for it to update it, give us an update anytime soon. There's nothing advertised. So please be careful when you're using Word that you're not using APA 6 formatting. So quickly, I'd like to take us off to a Google Docs to do a little bit of practice. And I'll share this link with you after as a resource if you want to go back to it. So you should be able to see a paragraph on seagrass now. Yes? Okay. So I stole this out of one of my reports. So seagrass is in blue. We have the different ways of in-text citation. You don't have to always put it at the end of your sentence with the author's names and dates. You could split it, put it into the actual sentence and with the date at the end, different formatting. If your idea has come from more than one source, semicolon between the multiple sources, and you put them all there. This yellow here, it has an error. Can anybody speak up and tell me what is the error that we need to change for APA 7 here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 authors. Yes, go ahead, Justin. You're muted, sorry.
Oh. I was going to say it should just say Curado et al, right?
That's right. Now, because there's more than 3 or more, it's automatically. In the old days, APA 6 world, you would have kept that there with the 5, but now it's going to be just Curado et al. So, and then I use Zotero. Zotero, when I've inserted these references, it automatically makes this beautiful reference list for me. The only thing is if you delete something out of your text, then it won't automatically delete it unless you happen to hit refresh. So here I've made mistakes on purpose. So quickly we could just go over some of those mistakes, and I might get this from a student. So this would be some of my editing. It's not in alphabetical order. Duarte and Curado need to reverse, so that would be in alphabetical order. Under Duarte, this is one of those examples of the old DOI links. Now you would replace that, I did look it up, with a hyperlink for that same reference and insert it there. Under Green and Short's World Atlas of Seagrasses, Berkeley, California, does that stay or go? It's going to go because we don't need to have the location anymore. The IPCC Working Group 2 report that's here, it's not an authored report. It's by a group, an organization. So this particular citation would go at the front of the alphabetical order. Also, the retrieve from can be removed. And here someone made an error. They put Mr. Orth's full name, Robert, and it should just be R, an initial. So that's an example of how to do it. And then the one that the students always get wrong is how to make the hanging indent. So we would have corrected everything. We would have made it alphabetical. We put the IPC at the top, and then you're going to format and they never know how to do it. You need to go into special indents and apply a hanging, and then magically it's in the right format. All right. I'm just going to go back. So we've gone over what is APA referencing and the APA 7 changes, how to write in-text citations under APA 7 and format a reference list. I've given a few handy resources that you can go to and practice examples. I forgot to hit record, didn't I? Crap. Sorry. And we've done a practice example. if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to share it. But meanwhile, I will put up in chat how we would get into that Google document.
I just want to make a comment. I was just
Sure.
surprised to hear that the old APA 7, you had to list every author on the in-text citation. That to me would make it could get bulgy at times.
Up till 6, and then after that, you could go, it was fussy. There was all these rules. If the first time you used it, if it was 4 or under, you put all of them. After that, you put et al. Then if it was over 6 or more than 6, you did et al. From the beginning. Yeah, it was really clunky, and now it's just 3 or more et al.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I just wanted to share the link to that document, so it's in chat, so everybody can get that. And I didn't forget to press recording. It just doesn't show it when you're in share screen mode. So I apologize for my panic. That hit me really, really hard there for a minute. It was like, whoa. So yeah, if you wanted to go into in the chat and get the link, there it is for everybody. Any other questions? Great, I'm going to stop the recording now. Thank you.